Welcome back. Our second stream of the day. If you guys were here earlier, we did a Blade Runner 40th anniversary stream at 2 o'clock. I am going to go ahead and put the link into there for that. Happy Friday. Welcome to July. If you're in the desert, welcome to more triple digit heat. But the good news is, it is what, just under 6 months till Christmas. We are going to be covering a little bit today. Today might be a shorter show because I'm tired because I was up all night watching Stranger Things, which is one of the topics we'll approach. Non-spoiler. I promised you non-spoiler, so I won't screw it up. I understand it aired at midnight, and a lot of people either were sleeping or had to deal with the site crashing or just haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So at some point over the next couple of days, I might come back and do a spoiler review, or we might do something else on the with Enosh and the Point Extra on to be able to hit all those topics. But right now, I'm just going to hit on the overall quality of the show today. At some point during the show, we're going to have another local wrestler. Cutthroat Cody will be here going through some of his matches and what he's gone through. And like I said, we are going to try to, whenever possible, have local wrestlers on here. And maybe we'll get lucky one day and have a wrestler, from outside of our territory, outside of our state. But professional wrestling to me is professional wrestling, and I'm a big, huge fan of it. So as soon as he gets here, we'll go ahead and stop anything we're doing, and we'll interview him. Going to start Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. If that will be a spoiler, if you have ever watched Alien or Aliens, you're going to appreciate this episode. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my first guest, my second professional wrestler that I've had on here. I've had Ricky Tenacious a couple of weeks ago when he did his event right over here. You know him as Cutthroat Cody. He goes by a couple of different names. Cody Hancock is his real name. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. I apologize, but unfortunately the Wi-Fi at the wrestling school is out, so I had to rush to a Starbucks, and I'm going to have to try to mind my manners. There's a few people in-house, and I don't want to drop any salacious language. I've known to cuss a lot, so I'll try to be on my best behavior today for you.
That's okay. Hey, tell me what's going on with you right now. What do you currently had your teeth sunk into? Next match?
Well,
Anything you want to promote?
right now, there is a promotion called Valor Pro out of California. I'm going to be wrestling for them on the 9th of this month. I know that Future Stars of Wrestling is going to be having the FSW Fallout show, which is always our annual show after our 13-year anniversary. And that's going to be taking place at the FSW Arena, 6035 Harrison Drive. Probably going to be 7 o'clock if anybody wants to come down and check out an awesome live wrestling show. We would like to invite everyone that's listening.
I have been to these shows. I've been to, as a matter of fact, a couple of years ago today, I was at the, I always tell people this, I was at the one where Natural Born Killers, where Killer Cross was there. And
Yes.
you had Austin Aries and John Moxley showed up. It was a surprise for us. John Moxley showed up. I continue to tell people, I kind of went over this when we had Ricky on here. If you ever get a chance, you get to go and you're within arm's reach of the people that you're watching. It's not like when you go to a larger event where you're unless you're sitting right at the cage, you're up close. You get to see them. There's no bad seats at that arena. There's no bad seats at that show.
And that's something that I think the room looks really well for tapings, and it's a very intimate venue. We can't hold more than 100 people in there. And the Natural Born Killers event, the first one that you're speaking of, where Moxley had the surprise entrant in the match against Cross, it was there was so many people crammed in there, and nobody knew that Moxley was going to be there. So for Moxley to show up, it was probably one of the biggest reactions that, I mean, not even in FSW, because there's a lot of companies that run out of Vegas, especially with Ricky Tenacious. He has Big Valley Wrestling. You have Versus Pro Wrestling, and then you have the Pride Style shows, and then you also have Grap House that's ran by S4 TV, which are all my children. I think that if you go back to that Moxley moment. It was the loudest reaction of anything that's happened in this town as far as professional wrestling goes ever. It was an incredible ovation for him.
Yeah, I loved it, and like I said, the fact that there's a picture on my Instagram from that night where uh, Cross knocks him into us, and him and his or now wife are following into us, and they have it frozen on Instagram, and it's actually on Killer Cross's page. So you actually
Yeah.
see me, the dorky look on my face, trying to catch him. Me and my buddy Armando, who actually made suggested you. You might have met him, Armando Aguilar.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
and I am glad that he got us talking, man. Like he, uh, one of the biggest supporters, and he's been coming to shows for a while, and he's always appreciated.
yeah. He took me to that show. He took me to that
Yeah,
show. Like I said, I am above board when it comes to wrestling fans. There's your casual fan, your general fan, and then there's a nut like me.
right.
I'm watching it all night. I'm watching other
Yeah,
countries wrestling. I just showed off my belt. We just I got a Ric Flair big gold that we have here in the store.
that's
I
fantastic, man.
just got, and I got a New Japan. So I'm watching everything. So I've made it my goal to try to make it as much independent shows as possible. Um, how did you get in the business, and how long? Go ahead and let my general audience know how you got into the business. What led you to this point right here?
So just because I know we have a little bit of a time frame, and I talk a lot, so let's try to put it in a nice little package and put a bow on it. So I grew up being sick, and I had a major lung surgery when I was 18 years old, and I wanted to do nothing more than be a professional wrestler, and I didn't think it was going to be a possibility. But after I had my lung surgery, I started saving money because at the time there was no wrestling schools in Las Vegas. This was in 2008. So I had actually had my eyes set on moving to Philadelphia to train at Chikara Wrestle Factory, and CZW school actually had a program. So you could train at both companies. And I was intending to move out there. But then there was some events that started popping up in Vegas that I started attending, and then I found out that there was some schools that were going to be opening up. A lot of these promotions are closed now, but the only one that stuck around was FSW. So I've been in the industry for about 14 years, and I went from being not very good to being, I would say, adequate at best. I'm a humble guy, but I've had a lot of accomplishments. I've had multiple match of the years for Future Stars of Wrestling. I've held multiple championships for the company, and I'm also one of the head trainers at the Future Stars of Wrestling Training Academy. And the list of students that I have is pretty long. Karrion Kross, his first day was with me. Chris Bay, his first day was with me. So I have I was brought into this industry by people that really expected more of me, and now I get to pass that knowledge that they give to me, and then the knowledge that I've gained through research. Because I'm a big tape guy too, right? I watch Dean Allmark is probably one of my favorite wrestlers in the world right now. He's a brilliant technician, and I'm also a fan of Damian Slater, who has a wonderful YouTube channel for anyone that's interested in actually learning how to break into the industry. And he goes over moves and holds and stuff like that. And Drew Onyx out of Canada, like there's some innovators that people don't know. And my goal in wrestling right now is to get people to know about me so people can start finding out about them. Because there are people that sometimes never get the opportunity to wrestle for a major company. But talent is all over the place, and sometimes people just got to find out about it. So I am very happy to be a trainer, and I'm also very happy to still be actively wrestling.
Tell me about your school, about your training that you do.
Well, it's not my school. It's Future Stars of Wrestling School. I'm just one of the trainers. So Sin Bodie is one of the trainers as well. We also have Kenny. We have Kenny King. D'Lo Brown comes down from time to time, and We have guest coaches like TJ Perkins, and there's always seminars. And, I learned everything that I really needed to from my time with Future Stars of Wrestling. And like I said, my classes reach upwards to 25 people sometimes. I have a documentary that my good buddy Mikey from Too Sweet for Delete has been doing. There's 2 episodes, and you can get an inside look at my training. It's called Breaking the Surface. So if you follow me on YouTube, Cutthroat Cody, you can find the first 2 episodes on my YouTube channel. And if you watch it, please like it, and even don't like it, but leave a comment and share it with other people. Let people know that we're here.
Let me go ahead and put that in my my chat link. What is
Yeah.
it? What does it feel like when you get to see, let's say, for a guy like Chris Bay, somebody you've been in the ring with, and then you see him now. He's part of Bullet Club. He's on, national, in New Japan, and it's like a sense of pride when you guys are able to.
Oh yeah, I mean, and man, it's Vegas had nothing. I started in Vegas. There was an indie scene in the early 2000s, right? But it wasn't anything to write home about. But a lot of people stuck around and helped resurge independent wrestling in the late 2000s, and that's when I entered. So this city has a lot more history than people even realize. There used to be NWC, and they booked Cactus Jack versus Sabu and a casino death match where they give each other pile drivers on blackjack tables at the Silver Nugget, and like Vegas has a very rich wrestling history that some people have no clue about.
Yeah, I got here in '93. I'm from California. I'm from the LA, San Bernardino area. So I got here in '93. And yeah, it just wasn't, you could have people living here for years, and they wouldn't realize that some of these stars live here. Some of these
Yep.
stars come from here. So my goal, what we're trying to do right now with is just to try to put as much spotlight and make the people have the connection. If you're already watching some of these major promotions, kind of take a look at where some of them came from, and support some of the smaller ones that come on, because like I said, literally you could be watching somebody and then 6 months later they're on a big screen somewhere, or they're in a big match, or over in Japan wrestling, and they
Yeah.
had to go somewhere. So, and this is not just in Vegas, but more because I'm living here, I'm biased, but all over the nation. And I've always implored people, if you get a chance, if you're in another city, if you're in Ohio or you're in New York, look up some of these smaller events in these warehouses, and they're not very expensive to go to. I mean,
Right.
I head out. FSW is one of the cooler experiences I ever had coming out there. You're packed in there. The ring is like right there, and you're going to see some people.
There's no bad seat. Yep.
No,
No bad seat in the house.
nah, back row. You're still,
Yep.
like I said, sweat is still getting on you. So, when you look at what are you currently watching, like some of the mainstream stuff? What is some of the stuff that keeps you engaged?
It sounds really bad, but honestly, I don't have a lot of time to watch a lot of the mainstream stuff because my priority and focus is what happens in town. The majority of my time is spent watching. If people will just send me matches and they'll say, "Hey, please watch this for me and tell me what to do," right?
Wow,
So I've
you can
also
critique them like that.
yeah, I've got I've entered also a consultant role, so and people will pay me a small fee to watch their matches. It's modest. It's how I pay my bills. I'll give them advice. I'll tell them things they should do, things they shouldn't do, and then where to go from there. So I've been able to help a lot of people in the industry, and so I prioritize watching their stuff over new stuff. Every now and again, I'll come down off the mountain, right? Because
Uh-huh.
when I'm watching tape, I'm watching stuff from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. I don't really have an interest in what's happening in today's product due to the fact is that how do I stand out in a room full of people that are all doing the same thing? I have to do something different. So when I'm watching tape, I'm watching old stuff. I did watch Forbidden Door, and every now and again I'll watch like a major pay-per-view. And if there's somebody that I hear about, like I like Will Ospreay's work. I think that he's incredible. His transition into heavyweight in New Japan is fantastic. I watch.
His match was the best. His match was the best of that pay-per-view, man.
Yeah.
His
Oh,
match
absolutely.
oh man, that was a 5.
Yeah, and I always try to pay attention to what Chris is doing. And Chris Bay still comes to the school at FSW, and every now and again, like, we'll pitch ideas to each other and stuff like that. So anyone that I know that I have had a hand in that they go and do something somewhere else, a good buddy of mine, Silas Mason, just debuted for NWA Power, and he's like one of my best friends, and he's based out of Tennessee. And he's going to end up being used probably pretty regularly for them. So there's a lot of wrestling right now, which is challenging, but if I hear somebody say, like, hey, this match needs to be watched. I loved Cesaro and Zack Sabre Jr. That was a absolutely brilliant match that happened at Forbidden Door. The lead up, Moxley and
Tanahashi.
No, it was before it was for the build of Adam O'Reilly, Kyle O'Reilly. My apologies.
Oh, okay.
Him and Kyle O'Reilly on Dynamite before to decide who was going into the match at Forbidden Door. That was a great match. So I'll sprinkle things here and there as much as I can handle, but the majority of stuff that I watch, man, is unfortunately nothing mainstream. I wish I had more time, but I keep myself really busy.
Question: do you, when you're training and when you guys are training at FSW, how much of it is the promotional aspect? I know there's a physical and the skill aspect of it, but do you guys do anything as far as training them, as far as how to sell their stories and stuff like that, or is that one of the things you guys do there?
So I think that the better way to explain it is that FSW takes people from the ground up, right? And because we do have a lot of chefs in our kitchen, and everybody brings something different to the table. Sin Bodhi is brilliant when it comes to the psychology of putting a match together, right? Kenny King is brilliant with elevating your athleticism in a wrestling ring. And he also touches on promos and things of that nature and interviews and stuff like that. And I kind of am a jack of all trades, and I've turned into probably a mad scientist because all I'm doing is I'm watching stuff, and I'm watching things from Mexico. Skida, for those who don't know who Skida is, he is probably one of the most influential luchadors of all time. And it's not because he does a bunch of flips. It's because he has beautiful transitions and counters and holds combined with flips. So I watch stuff like that, like I mentioned Dean Allmark before. If you don't know who Dean Allmark is, look up Dean Allmark Wrestling Systems on YouTube, or just look up Dean Allmark on Instagram, and he is an absolute innovator in the world of British wrestling. He's incredible, and a lot of people don't know about him. And so I'm bringing stuff like that to the table, and I'm also coming up with drills. And I'm also kind of like a little bit of a motivational speaker because I started with nothing. I wasn't good. I was told to be a referee. I was told to get out of the business.
Wow.
No, I didn't come up easy. I had to fight tooth and nail. There's a reason why you mentioned that I have a lot of names, right? I started to crash test Cody because I was a punching bag, right? And the only thing I could do good was get my ass beat. Pardon my French. But over time, I transformed my body. I've lost a bunch of weight. I've gained a bunch of positive weight. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm more athletic than I've ever been. I'm 37 years old. So that's what I bring a lot of different stuff to the school. And everybody does. Anyone that comes in, anytime we get a seminar, you can learn every single thing that you need to know about professional wrestling at Future Stars of Wrestling.
Now, how does this is my standard viewer right now? How do they get in on this class?
So all you gotta do is you gotta contact Joe DeFalco on Facebook, or you can Google search Future Stars of Wrestling, and you will find the address for the school. Joe DeFalco is normally there Monday through Thursday, I would say, anywhere between 4 p.m. and 5 o'clock. But if you message him on Facebook and say, I'm interested in coming and checking out a class, most classes typically run from anywhere between, I think Sin Bodhi is there 6 o'clock to like 8 o'clock on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is kind of a fly-by-night day. Most time you'll see people in there around 4 o'clock. My class from here until if there's something crazy that happens has always been at 5 p.m., right? But you want to get a hold of Joe DeFalco before you come in on a Thursday so he knows that you're going to be there, so he'll come in. Because sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not.
Okay, I just
But
posted.
just get a hold of Joe.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, I just posted the link in the chat. So if you want to do
Beautiful.
to their Facebook page, if you want to go and do, once again, if you guys get a chance to check out indie wrestling, I think I may have lost Cody. He was. Oh, there you go. You're back. He warned us that his internet was coming in and out of Starbucks. So, let's give him a couple seconds to come back. But yeah, guys, if you get a chance to. If you're in Vegas or you're anywhere else, check out any. I mean, I'm here in Vegas. Some of you guys are watching me from Vegas. Get a chance to come out to FSW and meet all these guys that we just talked about. But wherever you're at, look up your local indie wrestler and give them a shot. It looks like we lost Cody, but like I said, once again, thanks for Cutthroat Cody for making time for us, going out to Starbucks and making that time for us. I know he has a very busy schedule at his gym, and he's like you said, the Wi-Fi was not very good here. For most people would have just canceled the interview, but he did not. So thank you very much. Support FSW if you're in Vegas and any other independents wherever you're at in the world, depending on wherever the Poindexter network is. So, all right, I am going to bring on my sci-fi wingman, Brian, and should we do this? Yeah. All right.
Why not?
Okay, so let's go through the chat. Hello, Ashley. Monkey.
Hello, Ashley.
With another old joke. Wow, these never get old. Let's see. Yeah, I tried to post a bunch of links and it wouldn't let me. It let me do that one. Okay, yeah, it's a dry. Yeah, okay, great. You know what? My brain boils. Wet heat, dry heat, brain still boils. Alf Jeeves. I think this is Monkey Jeeves with a different name, but okay. Wow. It's been a long day. I feel like I've been on the air for like all but 2 hours of it. But it's been a big week. It's going to be a big month. We got a lot coming up. We just had a lot. Strange New Worlds, episode 9, one of the penultimate episodes, just aired last night. But first, I know, Brian, you're still getting caught up, and we're going to talk non-spoiler. Stranger Things. Dave, you watched or no?
No, I'm actually going to watch it starting tonight, probably tomorrow.
Okay, so
but I'm gonna get all 9 episodes out this weekend. So.
Wow, holy cow! It's a long haul. These last 2 hour and 20 minutes and 2 hour and 20 minutes respectively. It's
it's like the last 2 episodes were like made for TV movies, from what I'm seeing. Like, and they're long.
Done that way. They are done that way. The quality is that good. Let me go ahead and add RJ here. How you doing, RJ?
Hey, what's up, William? It's been a while.
Hey, what's up, RJ?
World, right? I'm not Stranger World. Stranger Things, RJ?
I seen Volume 1. I've not started Volume 2 yet. There's a reason for that. I'm waiting to watch my dad. So.
Okay, so I think I'm the only one on the panel who's seen them all. So like I said, we're not going to go into spoilers because it just came out less than 12 hours ago. It's a long 4 hours for people to have to put all in. So I'm not going to screw it up for anybody. I'm just going to tell you that storytelling wise, no matter what the genre is, there's nothing you can't take from this season of Stranger Things that could not make a show better. You name the show, this series, this season has done it. From the score, the character development, even the characters that were introduced just this season, even the characters that aren't on the screen very much, even they're all over the world, literally all over the country. They're in 2 different places in America, and then they're in Russia, and they find a way to make you care about all of those aspects of it. And it's not just this season. This season's the best, But the things that happen in this season are built up throughout the first three. Some of the reunions, some of the things that go down, some of the character development goes all the way back to season 1 and 2. The villain in this season is truly terrifying. If you like Nightmare on Elm Street, you're going to see a lot of Freddy Krueger. And
it's very Nightmare on Elm Street inspired.
And they did that. They blatantly did that on purpose, and I don't mind at all. It was a roller coaster ride. It's a roller coaster ride, and other than Star Trek, and even not to the point of Star Trek, because not everybody on Star Trek is disposable and is useful in each character. You're going to see your crew characters, but then for the most part that they're all going to make it out okay. And Stranger Things has a habit of sometimes not everybody making it out and intact. And these last couple episodes were, like I said, they were very intense. If you saw the trailer leading into episode 4 and it seemed like overly intense, it's not. That final trailer with the Kate Bush running up the hill, that trailer doesn't do the actual episodes justice. But like I said, every piece of this season could be used at a college course on how to tell your story, how to make people care about your characters, and how to make people care about what happens to your characters. I watch TV shows all the time where I don't give a crap what happens to these people. I'm engaged to the point where, okay, you're there, but you're not part of the story. You're not the main thing.
Well, the thing I love about Stranger Things too, and again, I haven't seen Volume 2 yet, but I can just speak just to this season in general. I mean, like, there's so many new characters that get introduced each season that I love the way they blend in those new additions very well to where they feel just as lovable and interesting as the characters you've been following for the last 3 seasons, right? Like season 3, they added Robin, for example, and Robin's getting her own story arc this season too. Season 3 had like that Alexei guy, right, the Russian spy dude, and then you had Murray, for example, who's been a
Murray's a legend. Murray,
right? And this season you have Eddie, for example. So it'll be curious to see where Eddie's story goes here once I actually watch it, right? So it'll be, there's just so many new characters they've added where they don't feel like they're taking away from the show at all. They feel like natural extensions of it.
Eddie is the best introductory non-founding character that they've introduced through the entire show. Robin is right behind him. Okay. Robin is like right behind him as far as compelling characters that I really enjoy watching. Eddie's at the top. And these last 2 episodes for Eddie, Eddie's going to be, is the things that happen in this story with Eddie, how he carries himself is going to be kind of epic. If you like the character prior to this, and he was a very popular character, you're going to love this character going down these last 2 episodes. And these key people are generally in my age group. They're a little bit older, about 3 years older than me, all of them. I remember that guy in junior high. I remember that guy. I remember the Eddie in my high school class or in my 6th grade. I remember that guy, the long-haired guy with the wasp shirt. I didn't know. I didn't think.
Yeah, who loved rock and roll and D&D and all that.
Thought he was a devil worshiper. Got the pentagrams and got the weird jewelry and all that. And as you grow up to know these guys, as you go through high school with them, and you go, they're growing up in your city, and you see them, you probably work with some of these guys, you realize that was just, it was madness what people thought. But I understood his character. And when the whole Hellfire Club, that's how us nerds were treated back then. That's how they thought about us. They thought we were cults.
I remember those days in the 80s, man.
Yeah, play the record backwards. I mean, stupid ass stuff like that. And D&D, don't be playing that in the cafeteria. You literally, people will try to mess with you. And like I said, the only thing that stopped them from messing with me is I grew a little bit faster. And it's just, you know what? Go pick another table, dude. We're going to put out your dice. Nobody's going to mess with us. But exactly how Eddie is portrayed, every high school in LA and Southern California had a bunch of those guys. All right. Mm-hmm. But they were the cooler end of those guys because they didn't care. They had their long hair. They had their flannel, and they had the Metallica shirts. And then 1980s, this is 1986, which was like heavy metal was reaching its zenith. You were starting to, it wasn't quite mainstream, but you knew who all the bands were. Everybody knew who Iron Maiden was. Everybody knew who Metallica was. Everybody knew who Megadeth. Megadeth was relatively new, but then Master of Puppets, I think, was released. So it was just starting to reach that point, and that's what they look like. We all had several Eddies, and like I said,
I hung out with guys like that. I hung out with those groups. So
playing D&D.
oh yeah,
and they're using the characters that are like, they're not making up characters. They're actually using characters I played back then.
yeah, they're using the pre-gen.
Yeah. So Eddie was the best. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything. All of them really evolved. They did more evolution in this one season than they did the previous 3. Maybe, and not just.
Well, it makes sense though. It's the penultimate season. I was asking this real quick, like in a non-spoiler way. Did this feel like a natural lead into the final season, where it really felt like things are hitting the fan?
Hell yes, yes. Like I said, not going to spoil it for you, but yes, okay. It is. Like I said, there's an intensity about these last 2 episodes. Because of all the hype around who's going to die, who's going to live, and all this.
The one thing I saw, and this isn't a spoiler, but I heard that in Volume 2, the biggest standout characters were, I think it was 11, Max, and Eddie, especially. Those 3. Max especially, I know, is getting a lot of attention this season. So, even just in the Volume 1 stuff, so.
I'm going to say yeah. Yeah. Those 3 characters shine, and some of the other ones shine a little bit more than they have. Like Lucas does a pretty good job of making his presence.
Yeah, I heard Lucas was really good in these last 2 episodes. What I got told, at least.
Yeah, and at critical times, there's some critical things that happen, but like I said, it all comes back to 11, and she's more powerful in these 2 episodes than she's been in the entire series, and they meant it that way. Matthew Modine's character. You get a little bit more of an understanding for what he was doing, why he was doing. You get the feeling that it's going to hit the fan for the entire 4 hours that you're watching it. But they play you. They swerve you, so that you can't really predict what's going on. And as a matter of fact, I think a lot of some of the predictions that I've seen, people have over predicted some things.
Which tends to happen, yeah.
Yeah, they found a way to keep you engaged, and I really, like I said, I already liked the show. I thought season 1 was groundbreaking. Obviously, I thought seasons 2 and 3 were really good. I really liked season 3. None of them touched season 4. None of them touched the dread that hangs over season 4 the entire time. There's dread in the other seasons. This season, from episode 1 all the way up until the final moment, there's dread.
Well, this season was like a lot less fun than the other seasons. Like season 3 especially had a lot more fun with it, with like the whole Russian subplot, and just like it felt like an 80s action movie in a lot of ways with some horror. This season definitely felt they emphasized way more of the horror and the dread and like the just creepiness of it all. A lot. Well,
it is, yeah, and it's the reality that you get the understanding that these are not professional superheroes. These are some kids, some adults, one humanly powered one that even with all her power, and they without spoiling it, they as powerful as 11 is, she's nothing without them. And that's one of the things that they really drove home.
So it's kind of like it's kind of like the Buffy effect then, right? So, she's good on her own, but she's better with her friends.
She's non-existent without her friends. In these last couple of episodes, it's the thing, and it's a one thing that these guys have done writing wise. Every single person in the show this season played a part in how things end up. There are no garbage characters in this season.
Well, that's good because I was kind of worried because Volume 1, I felt like Will, Jonathan, and Mike didn't really get to do a lot. So I'm hoping that they get to do more when I watch these last 2 episodes. So
yeah, everyone you just mentioned, they have a very critical moment that without them, the fan is shattered. It's not just the shit doesn't hit the fan; it destroys the fan without a particular moment that they rise to. And they show it. They find a way to show you things in a way so that you see that they wasted nothing. There was no B or C characters. When you're going from scene to scene, transitioning from one area to another, from Russia to Hawkins to that, there's no.
Yeah.
if any one of those people fuck up or fail,
Yeah.
it's gonna get.
Well, did
real
you see
bad.
the Nielsen numbers for Volume 1, where it had some kind of billion, like the biggest streaming numbers ever for any show when it first premiered ever?
Yeah, and this volume 2, I can't believe that this volume 2 is not gonna bust because it crashed. The damn thing was crashing.
Oh no, Netflix crashed for at least about like 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah,
That was
and
crazy.
we were trying to get on, and that's why he was going to have his watch party. I'm like, I was going to get on there if he did, but I'm like, dude, I think this is going to crash, and we're just going to be sitting there talking to each other. But it ended up crashing for like 38 minutes, but I was able to backdoor it. I was watching it on my computer, and then I threw it to my TV, and because it was a previously watched, it just picked up. So it was a way to bypass all that. And so I watched it, and like I said, there's another thing that's underrated when it comes to this show is how things are filmed. We're gonna go like episode 7, where this is not a spoiler. I mean, if you haven't watched the show up till 1, this is sort of a spoiler, but I'm not going to spoil the last 2 episodes but episode 7 has been out for what, a month?
Yeah, about a month. Yeah, about a month and a half. Yeah.
When Hopper reunites with Joyce, that scene is emblematic of how well they've done this show. The score in that scene, I keep listening to it over and over again. They have a score that just escalates, but they do this 360 pan around to where it's Hopper and Joyce. Those are the central characters, but they rotate around so that you see Murray and you see Alexei. You see the guard.
Oh,
and
Yuri, yeah.
No, Yuri wasn't Yuri the dummy. Yuri's the dummy that tried to sell him out, right? Yuri's the dummy. Yuri's the guy.
Yeah, the guy who's probably right.
Yeah, Alexei's the prison guard, the Russian prison guard.
Right.
And
yeah.
It was cool because you got to see the principals, but you also got to see the 2 people that they wouldn't have been able to do that without. And they that's the way the whole show is. The last 2 episodes are that way. Like I said, everything. If you liked episodes 1 through 7 of season 4, volume 1, let's call it, I can't see you not loving episodes 8 and 9. I can't read your mind. I can't predict you how you're gonna feel.
Right.
A lot of people were entering these last. I have a friend on Facebook who I think was going to have an anxiety attack.
Waiting.
They kept doing these memes of people, certain people that are going to, hint and Noah Snap or whatever his name is on there crying, and then people were reading that and there's going to do this guy's, and I'm like, so I knew so many people who tied themselves up and not watching this. So I hope that those individuals watch it, and I hope they're in a good place.
Well, let me ask you this just for like clarification's sake. When you're talking about like what people should take away from this show when it comes to their streaming content, is it more so just the writing and like specific aspects of like making you care about characters, or like just structure or pacing or length or what?
Everything, but the filming of it. The way that a scene builds. I haven't seen this kind of scene structure since Miami Vice. Starting with the sound. When they do the music, they creep into something, and as you visually see the importance of the scene, the music just escalates and escalates and escalates to the point where it's at a buzz, and you don't have any choice to be drawn into what the hell's going on. The constant theme that has been through the show from episode 1 all the way to these last episodes is it's a hallmark of these characters that they're not just going to leave you to die. They're not going to give up on you. And that is so important in this last 2 episodes. But when you're watching these episodes, you see the consistency from episode 1, season 1. Will Byers was dead, basically. Spoiler alert, it's been 5 years. Will Byers remember, he dies, and the government was letting them believe that he's dead. But because Joyce wasn't going to believe that, and as soon as they found the smallest episode that he was alive, they fought to bring his ass back. And these last 2 episodes, this last season is a amplification of that, because with Max, when she's targeted by Vecna, and they're doing some unbelievably crazy shit that puts themselves in mortal danger on every second, including going back and forth to that dimension where they know what's happened there. They know it's there, but because they want to save this one person, they're willing to do it. And it's all of them. And her not believing that once she got the slightest bit of evidence that Hopper's alive, look what she goes through to get to him. And it's a constant theme that they don't stray from. So if you have a show where you're building up to these final moments in these final seasons, very few shows are able to keep that consistent code. Not going to leave you to die, not going to give up on you, and they're not going to leave you behind.
All right.
To the point where they're risking their lives in just the most batshit crazy scenarios, including these last 2 episodes. You're like, these fucking kids are crazy. All right. And adults. They're all like crazy, but these are their family members. These are their friends. Including Eddie. Once again, consistency with character building. This guy's accused of murder. And because of what they've seen, they're able to believe in him and stick by him when the whole town is looking for this devil worshiper. So the kind of loyalty there that they build, cinematography, like I said, just taking you into the moment and building you in. And it's like you're being drawn into the scene. You're not just sitting watching something happen on. These guys, Duffer Brothers, are bringing you along the ride. So, and there was like a suddenness. And then the storytelling. This season more so than the previous 3. The previous 3 were great, but this season just does it. This season just,
I knew how to raise the bar, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I didn't think they would be able to raise it that much. You do increments. You get better and get better and get better. The difference between season 4 and season 3's quality it's a canyon. And season 3 I thought was great. A lot of it is to do with, like I said, adding characters like Eddie, shifting the focus back to certain characters that they hadn't shifted the focus. Max is better in this season than she's been in the previous one that she's in. Lucas is worth a lot more. He's not just a sidekick guy that comes up with some good ideas, to where, hey, why don't we know? Lucas is pivotal. So you have all your characters, they're all back, but the stakes are raised and they're pivotal. And there's some really horrific things that happen in these last 2 episodes that make you wince. So like, oh no, not this, and you're on the edge. There was nothing predictable about it. And everybody, like I said, there's so many people who are in chat groups and stuff that I'm with that have predicted all this and that. So far, nobody's right. They were a little bit right, but nobody's been right so far that I've chatted with. And like I said, a lot of the people who were, having anxieties, some of those people, they're probably doing a little bit better without giving anything away. And certain other people are going to be like, damn.
Yeah. Well,
because
do you feel like
there are some consequences.
So
Go
for
ahead.
you, there's like no other show out there that's at this level? Because I know some people say like the best shows on right now are this and The Boys.
The Boys is good in a different way.
Okay.
I don't care about those people in The Boys. I could give
Well,
a
they're
fuck.
scumbags. That's the point. They're all just
I am not compelled. I am not connected.
I mean, you kind of root for Huey and Starlight, but that's about it.
Yeah,
kind of.
It's like watching a monster movie where the people have brought about their own demise. They're all pieces of shit and they all need to die. I'm not connected to the characters in The Boys. It's a good show, but if something happens to certain characters in that show, I'm like, fuck you. You had that coming. Not this. This is a little bit more of a connection. The difference between The Boys and I'll say between Stranger Things is much more relatable. As relatable as can be, because The Boys is taking exaggerated situation and telling it from that point of view. Stranger Things is telling you things from a much more relatable view. Yes, I know there's other dimensions involved. There's powers involved. There's, flesh-eating dog things running around. That's not really what the show is about. That's the backdrop of the show. The core of the show is camaraderie, loyalty, and sacrifice. The Boys is great, but that ain't what that show is about. That show is about some of the most screwed up people I've ever seen. And I don't relate to them in that way. I can relate to them as much as I do in certain superhero movies, but I don't get my entertainment factor from that type of, if am I explaining that right? I can
No,
relate.
I get what you're saying. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can relate to the Stranger Kids plight. I cannot relate to the boys. Holy shit, can I not relate to the boys? And there are certain scenes in the boys where I'm like, did I just see that?
Yeah,
Why did I just see that?
Did I need to see that?
And I have a bad feeling that they're trying to outdo themselves and basically make me want to seal my eyelids shut.
No, they definitely are. They're trying to push the envelope as far as they can. I mean, that's
Some
no
of them,
doubt
I
about
get
that.
queasy at certain things. I got a strong, yeah. So yeah, different good, different type of good. I would slightly, I prefer Stranger Things over The Boys, and that's not a knock on The Boys. I just really just connected with these characters. I connected with the time period that they're talking about. That score is straight up 80s. Anybody who wants to know where that score is influenced by, look up a guy, Jan Hammer. He did the music for most of Miami Vice. He did the scores for Miami Vice. He did the scores for a movie called Cocaine Cowboys, which is about the Miami drug trade, which is what Miami Vice is based on. There's not too many shows that use a score to do that for you. There's very few of them. A lot of them try, and it's just the moment doesn't line up with the music. That's not the case here. So yeah, it's the best current series that Netflix has. Mindhunter is right up there with it, but once again, in a different way.
Mm.
I can't relate to most of the things going on in Mindhunter because it's a show about serial killers, and I haven't killed anybody, and I've never investigated one. But I have been a teenager. I was a teenager in the 80s. I mean, like I said, these people were class of 86. I was literally in the 6th grade when these kids were doing their freshman year. I can relate to all the music. I can relate to the mall being a kick-ass place to be. I can relate to all that. And I can relate to being treated like I said, I was a comic book collecting D&D game weirdo in the mid 80s. So Eddie would have been our ally.
What I could relate to about this show is I had a group of friends like that. I had several really good friends like that. We did everything together. So that's really why I like this show.
Yeah, and it's just a team. It's just an all-for-one mentality. They don't think twice about doing some of this crazy stuff. We're going to the Upside Down to get this person. We're going to Russia to get this person. This person's been targeted for death. We're going to do everything we can to stop this from happening. And that is the core. The monsters are props to me. Vecna is a prop to me. The Mind Flayer is a prop to me. It's without them and how they're written, the show doesn't work. All right, without their willingness, and Dustin, this is his best season.
Yeah, Dustin's been really cool this season. Honestly, though, to me, the standout kid of the season is Max. I think Max is I liked Max in the other seasons, but she's just on a whole other level this season. As a character, which makes sense because what happened at the end of season 3, you go through something like that, it changes a person, obviously, but it's just she feels like a totally different character in a good way, though. Where it's just what they, it's just elevated to that next level status that I didn't think was possible.
And she goes to another level in these last 2 episodes. Both her and Dustin go to. Dustin has probably 2 of the best scenes in the last 2 episodes, including
the whole season.
Yeah, you'll see it when you watch it. You'll understand. You'll understand. You'll understand what I'm saying once you've watched it. He has probably, and they're not necessarily action packed, by the way. The believability of these guys, given these circumstances, is what another thing that makes this, even amongst the monsters and the dimensions and all the other just paranormal stuff, they find a way to make this believable more and more. They add on more horror, but it is more believable with each horror element because it's their response to it that makes the show. Like I said, I can't. I mean, I was watching. I'm dead tired now because I stayed up and watched it. I interacted with some people that came off their cliff because everything, all the predictions were wrong. And then I went to bed, got up, read the story, got all our stuff, got ready for the Blade Runner stream, did the Blade Runner stream, took a couple hours, worked on the story a little bit more, and now we're doing this. So I'm dead tired.
Yeah.
But
did you feel the
general
length, by the way? Like going
What's
into
up?
it, did you feel the length to where like it felt like it was like did it feel perfectly paced where it needed it? It justified the length, or did it feel a little long in the tooth?
There are parts where there wasn't as big a sense of urgency that you realized that it was very long. Not in a way that turned me off. So there's
because they've been hyping up how long these episodes are, because it's about 4 hours of content. It's like 2 movies basically.
But they cover a lot of ground. They cover a lot of ground, especially in the second episode, which is the longer of the two. There are certain things where, without spoiling, I'll say they're preparing for something. They're all doing their preparing. They're all doing their final, whatever, what they think are their final words to each other. Those kind of drag on a little bit, but they're meaningful. Then there's certain things where most of it is like I said, towards you get to the end, it's like, and it's you start racing, and then there's a kick-ass scene in there, like I said, that has to do with music. And I know every metalhead watching that show, especially metalheads from that era, are gonna love that part, and it's gonna make that particular character a legend more so than he might already be. Like I said, Murray didn't shine as much. I mean, he kind of like reminds people how stupid and dangerous that everything they're about to do is, because the Russia group completely loses their minds and embarks on some shit that's like, what? And Murray's like, what? So there's not just all, it's not like Cloverfield where everybody goes stupid and everybody just goes along and says, okay, let's go do something stupid. Murray reminds them just how crazy everything that they've done is, and everything that they're about to do is. But he ends up, man, he doesn't get to the kung fu on the plane level, which is great. But he does some shit that makes you cheer for him. So, like I said, I could without spoiling it. If you love the show going into episodes 8 and 9, I can't see you not coming out liking it even more. Like I said, take away all the elements and just take the storytelling element about it. Apply it to whatever show you want. You want to make a Marvel show, you want to make a DC show. If you use these elements that they've used in this season, you're going to make a damn good show. You just need to plug and play where your characters mean and then they eat those. Okay, well, it's going to be.
That's possible.
No, but I can't even answer that any more than I just did without jamming it up for everybody on this.
So there you go, Marcus. I noticed it for you.
Yes and no. Oh, did he do a super chat?
No, he just wanted me to notice his comment.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Peter
Done.
Rabbit, defender, I think. No, not Peter Rabbit. Ryan Hartman did a super chat today, and I just totally blew it, and I forgot it.
He did?
Yeah, we were talking, dude. We were.
Oh man.
I had Scott McClellan on from.
Earlier today on the other
I didn't
stream.
have you there. If I don't have you there, I'll miss triple digits if you.
No worries.
But no, this show is great. This show is great, and like I said, after a long night, I should have probably went to bed. But like I said, I needed to interact with people who had seen it, and there was all people on my Facebook page like, "Anybody watch it?" And then we just started chat groups about it so that people didn't spoil it for each other. And like I said, the only thing I posted was the song that is prominent in the show, and I don't think that's a spoiler. But like I said, if you're a metalhead, there's a moment in there that I just thought was really fucking cool. And it needs to be an album cover. In fact, it could have been, I think it was an album cover in some other life. And also there's a quote where obviously, I mean, without spoiling anything, they use music to break Vex's soul. We know that going in, right? There's a point where they're looking for music and Eddie grabs the Iron Maiden tape and says, "This is music." So,
Right.
And I'll leave that to you guys to watch it. But yeah, when you guys get a chance to watch it, you'll understand. Like I said, a lot of the stuff I'm saying will come together, and you'll be able to form your own opinions about it. But like I said, it being 4 hours, that it hit on midnight, that a lot of people have other issues that they cannot necessarily watch something like that. I'm probably going to wait till next week or Sunday, and then we can do a whole deep dive of not just this season, but the entire series. Because to be honest with you, a lot of the stuff that happens in this last 2 episodes is relevant from season 1. They've been telling you they weren't making this up as they go along. You can feel that there was a consistent storyline that reaches all the way back to season 1, and there's a couple revelations that are very relevant to every season. So on that note, I'm just going to leave it there. I can't really say much until you guys have seen it. So
yeah.
All right. The only other thing. Hey, can you put up a poll, Brian? Do you know how to do that?
I think the YouTube channel has to do that. I think Inasha's the only one that
Yeah,
can.
Inasha's the only one that can do that, sadly.
Yeah, I think the only thing we've got left to talk about, William, is Star Trek. So,
well, I got a question because I got 2 premieres I can go to. One of them is Nope. One of them is Nope, and that's coming up, and the other one is Thor: Love and Thunder. So I got to meter my days off for certain things because I got 10 straight Sundays that I take off for Game of Thrones because I'm going to do watch parties for that. So
knowing how you're feeling about the MCU movies, William, I would suggest you go see Nope.
Yeah, the problem is that it might not be up to me as far as that goes because if I have a crowd of people going,
yeah,
I have to
you're going to take them to Thor. I mean,
see, look, I'm hearing from the red carpet reviewers that it was good, so it may be worth going to see.
Yeah, because I got to shepherd one personally, and then have somebody else, shepherd the other, and I got to like bribe those people with swag. But so I was going to set up a poll, like which one should I go to? Because the press screening for Thor: Love and Thunder is this coming Wednesday, and then the one for the couple weeks later is for Nope. We got a ton of T-shirts and stuff to give away for Nope. So so either way, there's a promotion. So it's like the last 3 Thor. I've heard from somebody who I sort of trust with these things that the elements that I have not liked about the previous 3 Thor movies are there. They're just done better in this one, and that there's certain things in there going forward that I might want to be there for as far as it fits into the overall story if I'm interested in that story. So
you're just
I'm torn between my science fiction and my comic book geek worlds because Nope, it looks really fucking good. Yeah.
I know, man, it looks great.
And Thor, I mean, even though the 3 previous movies have let me down personally, I always give the next movie a shot. I'm a sucker. So I'm like a flip a coin. So I'll figure it out. But like I said, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, that dominates the landscape for me because that's 10 Sundays.
Dude, I want to get in on those discussions with you on the Game of Thrones thing because I'm going to be watching it.
Yeah, because what we're gonna do is we'll have a watch party down here at one of the facilities, and then from that watch party, we're gonna actually do a live stream.
I'd be more than happy to do that.
So we'll have people watching us in the audience as we're doing it, just like you would, like a studio audience, like a talk show, and we'll be bringing cool. And it'll definitely be spoiler from that point on.
We could call the show Talking Thrones.
Somebody already has that. Yeah. I already looked that one up. Somebody has Talking Thrones already.
Damn.
All right, so Star Trek. I know you watched it, Brian. Dave, did you watch it?
Yes, I did. Twice, actually. Twice.
RJ, you're old enough to watch Star Trek: Strange New Worlds?
I'm old enough, just not Paramount Plus right now. But I got it today, so now I can kind of fix that, maybe.
Well, then catch up, dude.
This last episode was really good.
Especially if
but really sad.
All right, spoiler. That death was bullshit. Don't believe. Come on.
It was perfect. I cried. Get out of here, dude.
Dang.
Oh, sorry, William.
No, it had aliens vibes, man. It had aliens vibes.
Blatant alien vibes. But all right, spoiler. I'll put up the spoiler thing for All right, so we're gonna talk.
I'll tune out for a second or so.
All right, so Himmer's not dead. Come on, guys. You just didn't show him die. And I'm sorry.
We saw him fall we saw him fall into a cavern, man. I mean, I don't want him to be gone.
I saw him just standing there.
Dude, you watch him fall. You watch him fall, dude. Come on.
Cut out. It must have cut out before I see it, but no body, no death.
Look, I don't want to think he's gone either, man. I like him too much,
See,
but
that's what I'm hoping, Vince.
that's what I'm thinking is going to happen because Scotty was there before Kirk. Scotty was there during Pike's time, so.
Yeah, and it makes sense that like I liked Hammer, but I knew they were going to do something like that with him as he starts to talk. When they start talking and giving their last bits of wisdom, I'm like, oh, you're going to die, aren't you? God damn. Or when the husband and the wife get together and like, oh,
I mean, to be fair though, I thought Hammer was going to bite it before.
Oh yeah, there's
I'm
been
sorry,
many
dude.
times where
he's like the recurring red shirt on the show, man. Like
honestly, I also look.
Like,
I thought I thought one of the two that were in trouble this week were either Himmer or Mbanga because the storyline with Mbanga's daughter is already wrapped up. So
yeah, it's over with, and he's going to leave anyway, right? Because he's not. Was he in? Was it? How,
no.
Yeah. So
no.
Yeah. So his character. Some of these guys are going to have to start transitioning out. So dying would be, I guess, the best way. Or
dude, seriously, Film Goblin. No friggin' spoilers, dude. Jeepers.
What happened?
Comment spoilers. Comment spoilers. No.
It's okay, calm down.
I have spoiler alert on the thing.
There's 8 people watching. It's spoilers for
No, I'm talking about for me. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, sorry. Well, why did you tell me to shut up? You should tell me I'm spoiling it for you too. Sorry. You haven't seen what? Strange New Worlds?
No, Stranger Things. Stranger Things. Yeah. He spoiled
Brian,
Stranger Things.
Can you mute them or can you time them out a little bit? I guess.
No, just calm down. We'll be fine.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
I haven't watched shit. I just sat there and listened to you guys talk for half an hour. Okay, dude. I don't care about fucking spoilers. So, yeah, no. Back to Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah. No, Hammer was great. Well, I mean, if we're not going to talk Star Trek, I'm just going to go over to Max's. So I'm going to eat tacos. I'm hungry.
No, we can talk Star Trek. I mean, like I said, Duke can't talk Stranger Things. We're done with Stranger Things. I think this episode had a lot of alien elements in it. I think they didn't try to hide that at all.
Oh, absolutely.
The Gorn,
I like how the Gorn kind of like reproduce that way. It's interesting.
And then they eat each other right out of the chute. They're like, fuck, screw it, and then they grow. I want to see how they get to the creepy crawlies to the point where they can pilot and build ships. So that's going to be an interesting story. Apparently, they're going to be a reoccurring enemy, which I'm okay with. The next episode might be one of the best of the season, judging from the previews. Now, like I said, I'll let you guys look up the previews for episode 10. And there is like I said, there's something in those previews that makes this series not as much a prequel as it would be under normal circumstances. There's been one caveat to this whole thing because I don't like prequels for the most part. I'm kind of tired. I'm prequeled out. But the premise of this, him knowing his fate, has been one of the things for me going forward that I was like, you know what, this is different because we're not talking about what's happening.
I saw that preview. I saw that preview you're talking about.
Yeah, so he's got a decision to make, and that's going to be very compelling to see what the decision is. So I think I've covered everything. I think I'm done. I think I'm exhausted and I need more caffeine. I think we've covered everything. We covered Stranger World in depth.
Understandable.
We got with Cutthroat Cody to pimp out our local wrestlers and any independent wrestlers. We talked about Star Trek. Our next Sci-Fi Center Presents needs to be, and I put that in the graphic, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Okay, cool.
It's 40th anniversary. Yeah,
I'm up for talking about that. Yeah.
So I put that in the thumbnail to remind ourselves. And
well, also, you put it in the thumbnail, but I have to be nitpicky. It's the 2011 sequel remake.
We're going to talk about. Well, I say John Carpenter's The Thing. I'm including that because that's part of the story. I'm also.
Is it though? Is it? Do we have to acknowledge?
Technically, yeah, because
I don't want to though.
I understand, but it leads.
I don't want to acknowledge it, man. It's just like,
I'm also going to do a comparison of they're both Cold War movies, but the original 1950s version, which was the beginning of the Cold War, versus
The Thing from Another World. Yep.
Yeah, which is or John Carpenter's Thing, and the thing.
I've never seen the 50s movie, The Thing from Another World. I've never seen it.
It's actually pretty good. It's got James Arnaz, an old Western actor, as the Thing.
Yeah, the shadowy.
I just don't think I would. I don't know. Just like not try to like sound like old movies, blah. But it's just like I don't feel like I would like,
And I'm going to add
it.
that into the when we do it, because the interesting thing about that is it is about the same thing, even though you have much more grotesque.
Well, you know that
1982, it's still about not being able to trust each other in the Cold War.
Both of those movies come from a book called Who Goes There, and it's a interesting book.
The hallmarks are pretty much the hallmarks are pretty much the same. Not being able to trust the guy next to you. A lot of that in the Cold War in the 50s was because of spies, McCarthyism, how many spies were, in America at that time, just the paranoia. And then same thing happened to the 1982. But we're going to talk about that in depth. But we're also going to go at some point talk about the year 1982 as in regards to film. Just these two films, we're already hitting on two films that are in their 40th anniversary that were both box office bombs. But like we discussed earlier, the Blade Runner show, they are some of the most revered science fiction and horror movies to this date, and entering new generations all the time. So 1982 was a big year. 60 some odd movies were released, but E.T. was released, Conan the Barbarian was released, 48 Hour. When we went down the IMDb list, there's just a reason for an entire show right there. But let's go through the thing before I wrap this up. He fell, dude. Yeah, I guess I wasn't. I guess I must have cut out. But yeah, if he fell, but even still, I don't know, man. I'm so jaded when it comes to comic book and science fiction deaths. They just never die. It's like Tony Stark. Yeah, I love you, 2000. I'll see you next.
Yeah,
movie.
he's been gone for like 3 years already, man. He's been gone.
Okay, just like Chris Evans will be.
Listen, he's gonna be back, but not for a while. Not for a while.
Well, a while is 5 years. I mean.
5 years. No, we're talking more like 6. They're talking about like 7 to 8 years from now.
Okay, yeah, I see the spoiler that they're talking about. Okay.
I thankfully cannot see it. I was not paying attention, so.
I gotta put him in timeout for a little bit. Just nothing personal, dude, but I just don't want anybody to see that hasn't seen the show. But yeah, there's Bill M. came to Vegas in 1893. Well, you guys are getting mileage out of the Enosh old people jokes. Enosh literally being not even 2 years younger, but okay. And I'm in great shape. But all right, but that's about it. Anybody else? Anybody
I can't think of any pressing need.
RJ, anything on your mind?
It's 4th of July weekend, so go have fun. Go grill some hot dogs or something.
Don't blow your fingers
Be
off.
careful, William. I know you're crazy. Be careful.
Nah, I don't mess around.
Don't blow up your hand setting on fireworks.
Nope, I don't do fireworks. I haven't done fireworks when I was a kid. Once I joined the U.S. Army and I saw what kind of ordnance that's in these fireworks, all it is a couple of grains here or there subtracted, and you have a firework. I don't think so. When I can feel your fireworks, I can feel them shaking the ground. Those aren't fireworks. Those are ordnance, and those are mortars. So you guys have fun.
Yeah.
Keep your fingers on your hands, and I will see you guys at some point. Who knows if Enosh is streaming tonight? If so, I might see you then. I might just be asleep. But otherwise, I will see you guys next week.
All right.